There's a powder sitting on a shelf at your local outdoor or hardware store. It costs $3. It ends dampness in your tent, shelter, or camp setup completely. No electricity. No gadget. No monthly replacement cost. It doesn't just manage moisture. It converts it into solid matter permanently. Bushcraft builders have packed it into shelters for over a century. The chemistry is not secret. The science is not complicated. Military field engineers used it in forward operating bunkers across both world wars. Victorian-era builders used it in underground structures built in 1850. Those same structures are bone dry and standing solid today. And yet 60% of campers, overlanders, and outdoor shelter builders are still fighting a moisture problem every single season. Not because the solution doesn't exist. Because it was hidden. Because a $15 billion industry needs you to stay in the dark. Welcome to True Wild Camping, where we dig up everything the outdoor and survival industry buried from your view. If you're not subscribed yet, hit subscribe and the bell right now. This is where real field knowledge lives. Your tent smells like rot after every trip. Your canvas shelter has dark stains that come back every wet season. You bought a $60 rechargeable dehumidifier pack for your gear storage last year. You replace the crystals every few days because they fill within 48 hours. You scrubbed mold off your ground sheet twice this season. It came back both times. You've bought desiccant bags in bulk. You go through them faster than you can restock. At some point, you stop counting what you'd spent. The mold came back anyway. You called a gear specialist who told you to replace your entire shelter system. The quote was $800. You paid it. The moisture returned within one season anyway. This is not a gear problem. This is a pure business model. The outdoor waterproofing industry generates billions every year. Desiccant and dehumidifier product manufacturers stack billions more on top of that. Every single dollar of that revenue depends on one thing. You continuing to believe no permanent solution exists. The year is 1834. A chemist makes a discovery outside London. His name is Edward Dobson. He is trying to solve a problem that has destroyed stone and earth structures for ages. Underground moisture. The silent destroyer of every built thing. He works with materials that builders have used for 2,000 years. Lime has been mixed into construction since the Romans built their roads and aqueducts. Dobson is the first to document precisely what lime does to airborne moisture. His finding is simple, and it has been buried ever since. Calcium hydroxide reacts chemically with moisture in the air. It does not absorb water like a sponge or a filter crystal. It consumes moisture. It binds water molecules into solid matter. The reaction is called carbonation, and it cannot be reversed. The byproduct is calcium carbonate, common limestone, permanent. Once converted, that moisture cannot return. The reaction is done and sealed. Victorian-era engineers applied this immediately. They packed hydrated lime into the walls of railway tunnels. Workers reported that lime-lined sections stayed bone-dry. Untreated sections showed constant seepage. Canal locks, bridge foundations, underground shelters touching groundwater daily. The pattern repeated across every project. Those tunnels built in 1850 are completely dry today. 170 years. Zero maintenance. Zero electricity. By 1910, every major construction firm knew this. It appeared in foundation specs for hospitals and military bases. The War Department used hydrated lime in bunker walls across both world wars. Not because it was experimental, because it was the most reliable option available. The Building Science Corporation published a study confirming this. Passive desiccants outperform mechanical dehumidifiers in closed-air environments. The study ran 90 days. The room treated with hydrated lime showed 43% less humidity. Not marginally better, 43% lower in the same identical space. The dehumidifier consumed 900 watts every single day. The hydrated lime consumed 0 watts. 0 power. Not a single watt. Running a mechanical dehumidifier costs roughly $40 every month. 3 bags of hydrated lime cost $9 for the full year. Even at 60% efficiency, the lime saves hundreds every single season. Here is the number that should make every outdoor builder and camper genuinely angry. $3.80 to treat your shelter versus $280 for a machine plus ongoing power costs. The numbers are not close. So why does almost nobody in the camping and bushcraft world know this yet? This is where the story becomes uncomfortable. Hydrated lime is classified as a construction material in America, not a consumer product. That classification is not accidental. Consumer products get marketed, labeled, and placed on visible shelves. Construction materials go to trade counters and stay invisible to the person about to spend hundreds on gear. You will not find hydrated lime in the camping aisle. You will not find it next to desiccant bags or tent waterproofing sprays. You have to walk to the masonry section and ask someone at the back counter. That placement was decided by a committee with financial interests in keeping it exactly there. The International Code Council writes residential and construction codes across all 50 states. It is a private non-profit body. Its voting members include the Portland Cement Association, the American Chemistry Council, USG Corporation, and major waterproofing system manufacturers worth hundreds of millions. Every one of those groups has direct financial interest in what stays on the approved consumer list and what gets pushed into the professional use only category. Putting hydrated lime next to desiccant bags ends a billion-dollar market. Putting it next to mold treatment products ends another one. The chemistry didn't change. The classification did. And that was enough. If you're still watching, you now know more than most people in the outdoor community ever will. Subscribe and share this with someone who has spent hundreds fighting moisture in their setup. Every share puts this back in the hands where it belongs. Here is exactly what you do today. Go to any hardware store and ask for hydrated lime by that name. It is also called calcium hydroxide or Mason's lime at the trade counter. It comes in 50-pound bags for $3 to $5. Do not buy agricultural lime. Do not buy quicklime. Read the bag. Hydrated lime only. The bag will say calcium hydroxide clearly. Take a wide, shallow container. A disposable aluminum tray works perfectly. Fill it with hydrated lime to about 2 inches deep. Place it in your problem space. Your gear storage area, your base camp shelter, your canvas tent, your trailer, your crawl space. Leave it open and uncovered. The lime needs direct contact with air to work. Leave it alone. The chemistry works without any help from you. Within 2 weeks, a white crust will begin to form on the surface. That is early carbonation beginning to lock moisture into solid matter. Check it every 4 to 6 weeks. When it hardens into a solid block, the reaction cycle is complete. The moisture is permanently gone. That block is calcium carbonate, limestone. Throw it outside. Replace with fresh lime. Each cycle costs under $3. For severe humidity, 1 tray per 100 square feet. For maintenance, 1 tray covers 300 square feet. Always place trays near the moisture source and at ground level. Moisture is heaviest at the floor. Do not elevate the tray. A camp shelter builder in Portland documented her results over 8 months. Her storage and base camp area had run at 70 to 80% humidity for years. She had spent over $2,000 on waterproofing and moisture control products. She placed 4 trays of lime across 1,200 square feet of space. After 60 days, humidity dropped to 51%. Below the threshold where mold can grow. She kept measuring every month. After 4 months, it held steady at 47%. Her total cost for 8 months of treatment was $11. This knowledge never disappeared. It was never lost. It was reclassified away from you deliberately, moved from the public shelf to the contractor supply room, replaced with a service call, a gadget, a subscription desiccant kit that costs you every single month. The same lime that built Roman aqueducts has no consumer label. The same compound in military bunkers has no shelf space next to the gear you're already buying. The chemistry did not change. The classification did. That was enough to hide it. The powder is still on the shelf. It has always been on the shelf. The only thing that changed is who they decided to tell. Hydrated lime consumes humidity. Carbonation locks it away permanently. That $3 bag holds a process older than any piece of gear ever manufactured. It needs no warranty, no service contract, no electricity. If this opens something in you, subscribe and share it now. The next vault opens soon, and what's inside is heavier than this one. True wild camping. We dig up what the industry buried.